All right, behind some of the biggest records from Benny the Butcher to Taylor Swift, there's a name that keeps showing up on the credits in the liner notes, Jonathan Garcia. Before he started assisting for Ken Lewis and putting his stamp on major records as a Dolby Atmos mixer, he was a rapper, so he knows exactly what it feels like to trust somebody with your art. Fast forward a few years, he's now a Grammy-winning engineer, pushing immersive mixing beyond the standard with credits spanning Alicia Keys, BTS, Lil Wayne, Pusha T, Donna Summer, and more. In this episode, we're diving into what it really takes to pioneer Dolby Atmos while keeping that hip-hop grit intact, the process, the pressure, and how Jonathan built a workflow that serves both major labels and independent artists without losing the soul of the music. Welcome to the Loud AF Club, where we cut through the noise and go straight to the source. Jonathan Garcia, thank you for joining us.
Yo, Nicholas, thank you so much for having me. What up, Loud AF Club?
I just want to know, what are you doing? Like, what is the juice of what you're doing day to day?
Primarily mixing stereo and Dolby Atmos.
Okay.
I also kind of been trying to transition there for the last few years. I was engineering, like recording in New York City for a while, and then I got picked up and started working heavily with this engineer named Ken Lewis, who really like brought me more into the professional realm than I've been doing by myself, like in the sense of like my business was doing extremely well, like financially, but my clients weren't all major label all the time, and I was just like, when you're the, when you definitely know this, when you're the owner of your business, like you're either like the best there is like in the studio or like you're still learning from others. And like, I spent a lot of time in New York, like just going through studios, and I was just like, okay, like who else can I like put myself around that's like on a better level that I can learn from and like continuously grow. And Dolby Atmos brought me into like that realm more so than anything, because nobody really wanted it in 2020. And that's around like the time I got into it. And around 2021 is whenever every like Apple announced they're like, oh, we're now doing spatial audio. I think it was like July or June 2021. And I'm just like, I'm in. Like, I already know what's going on. And at that time I was like about a year or so out of college, and just running around New York City engineering. And I was just like hitting up every studio, every producer, every engineer, like, hey, do you know about Dolby Atmos? Like, hey, like, are you interested in like starting a like facility, or like, are you interested in like offering the service at your studio, like all this kind of stuff? And like, no, nobody wanted that. And then this gentleman Ken Lewis started hiring me as like an engineer for some of his sessions, because I was just making some noise in the city. And he actually met him in college. He came to my university, and he told my class, he's like, none of you better come to New York, because like I'm gonna make sure you get no work. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy. He's like, because I'm your competition. And I'm like, oh, that's so
Okay,
cool.
yeah.
Like, yeah, right. I'm like, that's so cool. I'm like, Kanye West guy, his guy just called me competition. I'm like, it's game, because at
Okay.
that point, like, I mean, it's still the same. Like, we're trying to be better than we were yesterday. So um, that's kind of like the mentality. So I went to New York, just built myself up, and I was hitting the guy. Like, I was hitting him. I'm like, yo, I'm coming for you. And then one day he like needed an engineer, and I answered the call. Then one day he was like asking me, he's like, what do you know about Dolby? I'm like, what do you know about Dolby? And we started making project, like we started working on albums since then. So it was pretty cool. Like, yeah,
All right.
early 2021, him and I got involved. Probably like, or actually late 2021, I think.
Okay. So with Ken, that relationship grew out of, like, it was symbiotic. It's like he's mixing records, and then you're doing the Dolby Atmos because you've got access to it. He's got leverage for his clients to be like, hey, we're doing this in Dolby Atmos as well, sort of thing. Or
Well, no, like originally, well,
okay,
yeah, most definitely. Like, yeah, we do Dolby to any client that needs, so we like
yeah,
partner up in that realm. But I guess a big thing, just on the independent side of things, actually, are you offering immersive?
I've started. Yeah,
Heck yeah. So like,
yeah,
at least like the the issue is always like, can I afford the immersive, or like it's just an add-on, or like, people, it's always like an upsell usually. So like, or like people view it as that, right? Because like, how are you
Mm.
gonna? It's foreign to a lot of people, especially like at that time. What we had, like the label wars, I guess I'd call it, because it's really different now compared to like when Atmos started. You know,
Okay, give it to like give us a playbook or an overview of what it looked back then and what it looks like now.
I feel like back then there was like really key players, just in the sense like it was hard to like get involved with the immersive because you have to like invest in the space, like you have to invest in the studio. Dolby has to like be approving everything, what kind of computer, like what's the software you're using, what interface is going
Yeah.
to run all of this, before we had like such ease with the software, because like nowadays you have incredible companies that are like making pieces of equipment that are like interfaces, just one cable, and now it's fully immersive with your integrated, for the fillet of the audio outputs, and like even inputs now for like immersive capture. So
Mm-hmm.
back then it was just like you would see like Frankenstein rigs, or like you would really have to want to be involved with like Dolby Atmos. And why would you? Like, it was an interesting thing. I guess my whole shtick was like I started learning it a little bit in college, and I was just like so blown away with like the possibilities of creating art in this world. Because now, like, I'm an art, I'm still an artist, but like
Okay.
you're able to deliver just like an experience to your fans, or just to for yourself, like that, like never before, like we've always wanted. I remember like um panning like like panning my first snare drum in immersive, and it wasn't an MTM, it was like an MTM rig. That's why like, and it was like, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make it like go from a little diagonal across the room, and it was like pow pow pow, and I was like, that's cool. you know
Okay.
just having that first like immersive experience, right? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put like everything in the ceiling. So like that's like how it got started. You know there was like, yeah, I guess it's just like gotten so much easier, and like there's the access has gotten so much better for everyone. Um,
Has that translated to two things?
mhm,
Has it translated the access in technology also makes it easier
yeah,
to work in Atmos? As in like the whole process, like now the renderers are integrated, now like everything's sort of like one stop shop. You're not like you said, Frankensteining systems and making it clunky. Number one, has the easier workflow translated to better efficiency and more competition on the rate side? And number two, has it made it more accessible for your client base so they understand what's up with it?
I would like you to reiterate the right side, because I'm not sure. I do.
Like,
What's on the other side?
what's on the other side is that pre 21, like June
Mhm.
21, Apple Music implementing spatial audio on those releases. Um, Dolby Atmos lived in a black box. It was, if you're in a studio with the speakers, in a theater with the speakers, you could experience it. So imagine pre 2021 trying to get
Into
money
yeah,
for like jobs on Atmos. People are going to be like, why? Whereas, now you go half a decade later, we're 2025, 26, where people are, they've got AirPods, they've clicked spatial audio, they've used their head tracker, they know the technology, and they see all the releases that they're looking up to being released as it. Has it made it more of an easier conversation with artists to be like, hey, let's roll on this?
yes and no, I would say. Just
Okay, cool,
because
go.
it depends on the artist and just like how familiar they are with the technology. Because I will tell you,
Okay.
like, I've gotten a lot of clients from them seeing my like Dolby Atmos like credits, and just like listening to the Dolby Atmos version, never hearing my stereo mix, and they're just like, bro, you like, I need I need my next record to sound like this. And I'm like, I'm like, which, can you send me like a reference? And then I get the screenshots, and it's like, you know, the Dolby Atmos badge. I'm like, oh, you're not even listening to like the stereo version. Like, you want the immersive version. I'm like, and then I like have that conversation. I'm like, do you know that
Okay.
like, do you understand like you're listening to the Dolby version, or do you already have a stereo mix? And then they're like, it's usually more like independent artists. Some, like, if I'm talking to like let's say major label artists that like haven't really had good experiences with immersive, or like haven't really gotten the chance to experience it themselves. Like it's more of these kinds of conversations. Like let's talk about it. Let's get you in a room, or like let me send you a few references like that you can listen like via anything on, like if you have headphones, like I got references I can send you that you let me know if you enjoy how like bounces on the headphones, you know. Um
Yeah.
and
So then what's like the aha moment for an artist to get on board to be like, I'm going to drop dime on this? And what's the biggest stick up where people are like, nah, this isn't for me. I want to keep it stereo. I'm not going to put the money on this.
yeah, so I think that like it's just all artist dependent, right? And like I'm
Yeah.
not, because like I'm not one to like, I don't know your budgets. I don't know like I don't know. It's not my business to know your personal like endeavors. But all I do know is like I respect like the art, and like I care about your art. So this is what I really specialize in is, I'll throw down in stereo, bro. Like, watch out. But I'll I'll share it. Like I fell in love with this art form, which is Dolby Atmos, because of the
Yeah.
possibilities of me being able to express my own creativity in it. Like now I'm able to like give you an actual like soundscape for an album, now, or just like even this single. Like imagine like even in your headphones you can hear the movement from everything. Again, depending on the mixer. So like
Yeah.
it's I'm not trying to push anything to it. And if I believe that the artist, like, if I'm like, wow, this record should be in Atmos, and they're like, yo, I don't think it should be. I'm like, well, maybe I'll eat the cost. And I'll be like, all right, yo, like, I'm gonna give it to you in immersive because like this deserves to like have its like experience, And then when they hear it, they're like, whoa, we gotta like, but like that's like you as like a business, you have to be like, all right, am I gonna bite the extra like that? Let's say like take the fee, like the what the
Yeah.
spec hit for that. So it's
Because
like,
because I'm trying to press on you on the business side here because
yeah, go ahead.
you have the accolades as a Dolby Atmos mixer,
Yeah,
like the Alicia Keys record last year. Was that a musical or a theatrical release?
yeah, musical theater.
Yeah, musical theater that won the Grammy for its category,
Yeah,
and that
you understand.
was that in immersive, that one, wasn't it?
No, that was actually the musical theater Grammy.
The
But
musical theater Grammy
my
worked
contributions
on the
were immersive.
immersive. Okay,
Yeah,
so you're pushing immersive mixes out at a high accolade. That's the way I see it,
yeah.
and I go, okay, that's awesome. Somebody with those accolades, I want to understand the business parallel to it
Mm,
because I want to know, like, if you're starting out in Atmos,
mm.
is it that much spec work? Because that much spec work on an Atmos rig doesn't
Oh, well, yeah, no, no. So,
translate,
like,
does not break
no,
even.
no,
And then I
God, I
go,
mean, well, that's like shit, bro. Like, you don't even have money to eat, bro. Like, you can't,
no,
like, in the
that's what I
sense, like,
mean.
if you're just doing, if you're just doing spec work, like, maybe I can't say you don't have money to eat because maybe one of those records like really like you're doing spec work for a label. Like it all depends.
And it
Like we have
hits. Yeah, but what I'm
there's
trying to say
crazy
is like on
stories,
a,
and like then the producer picks you up. But like
yeah,
I
I'm trying
think
to
I
get like
think
on a 12-month span, 24-month span. I'm not trying meaning to interrupt you, but like a
yeah.
12-month span, 24-month span as an operator. How are you thinking about Atmos? How are you engaging in those conversations? What's the sales cycle looking like? Where are the objections? Where are the wins and the strengths? Like how is that looking on like not like an individual case by case, but like on a long umbrella scale?
Um, it looks pretty great, I guess. Just personally, like I get yeah, because like you're just asking for the business. I just had like a little master class in here with a few students earlier. So and it's
Yeah,
just discussing immersive. Um, so I don't think it's going away for per se at all, especially now, like, everybody's an immersive engineer because it's very true, like, you see, like, all these badges, all these certifications coming up. So it's like, this isn't something that's new, and, like, a lot of these people that are delivering these records don't have these immersive rigs, you know? A lot of these people only have a laptop and headphones, and now
yeah,
it's like, that's the game we're playing, and it's just like, okay, some people are, like, delivering listening to, like, speakers. Some people are delivering major hits using their headphones. So with Atmos, it depends on your clientele, right? You like, you know, thankfully we have great clients and good business, so the rates stay at a certain price, and we like to keep great music coming through these doors. Um, and we kind of have crazy work ethic, brown skinned.
Yeah.
uh, but other than that, it's just I really like love this format, and my whole thing was like, I was like, I guess just for people starting out, that's what the more question is, like, how do you like eat starting out? I would say you have to really have a position that'll allow you to eat. So like I would, I always believe in engineering, working in a studio. That is like 10 out of 10, or like having it's a different type of job. Like in New York, I was working like 18-hour days, like 17-hour days, 36-hour days. I had like 72-hour sessions, like, being the engineer. And that's great. But like not a lot of people have that kind of like, let's do it. Like I have a lot of colleagues that are just like, yo, how are you like getting this work? I'm like, well, I never like turn it down, like I never
Mm.
like, I'm never one to tell you no, or like, though this is not possible. It was like, oh, or like I'm not in my schedule. Like I was just in Hawaii like doing this. I got a call for like a really dope hip hop record, and I'm just like, I'm with my wife, and I'm like, hey, we got to do this right now. Like I'm like, so I'm using my headphones, mixing a record, and
Yeah.
that's just how it goes.
So
I bet like you were
y-
uh you were probably doing like a lot of similar stuff when you took your trip to LA, you know?
yeah, I had my headphones and was just like on call, like
Yeah.
things come in, a last minute tweak here. On the aeroplane, I mixed a record on AirPods because I only
Really?
had the Odyssey MM500, then they were open back. So I had the AirPods and I'm mixing them on the plane ride into LA. So I was actually like in international waters. So maybe I could like have that as an invoice that's non-taxable. I don't know, like, because I'd like
That's
technically,
awesome,
like,
bro.
I'm not in any municipality. Like, I'm in an airplane,
Man, you
and
gotta you gotta tap in with that boy Ohad. See what he be doing, because he's always talking, like he's always like mastering on a plane. I gotta ask
yeah,
him about his taxes with that. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Be like, hey, if you're in international waters, you have to. No, I'm not. No, that's on the books. But yeah, no. On the plane moving AirPods, yeah, you have to move fast and you have to adapt. I was curious when you said you're mixing. Were you mixing stereo on headphones or were you doing
Yeah.
Atmos stuff?
Stereo and
Stereo.
Atmos. Stereo and Atmos.
When you
So
when you're doing Atmos, what are you running on your
Pro
headphones?
what headphones do I use?
Yeah.
I use Sennheiser HD 600s, which I
So
have them
you'll
right.
use the HD 600s with the binaural render on the out.
Yeah, and then I have like the AirPod Pro Maxes,
Yeah.
and then like some
Ah.
MX50s, and some AirPod Pro regular like little earbuds.
You have to tap
Uh,
into the Rhyme by Neumann.
the really
Rhyme. Yeah.
oh
With
their new renderer, right?
yeah. I've got it.
How do you
Because
like
that's
it?
sort of like my test dummy. It shits over the binaural render.
Really,
Like
just in the
I
sense of
still
like
I
the
s-
quality, or like the what
like
like the
the
representation
spatial
of the spatial
localize
audio.
yeah, the representation, like the localization of it
Mm, really?
just ruins the binaural. Like the binaural is yeah. I still have uh, a re-render for the headphones as a bus in the binaural, so I can check it because Amazon and Tidal are still on that.
Yeah.
But the rhyme, it's like
Is it just like a spatial curve that like Neumann's developed, that like they believe
so
like
what they did
represents
is
immersive better than
so,
Dolby's?
so no, so what they did is, and I gotta geek out on this on a video. I'm just waiting for some case studies to get like I got the mixes all signed off on, and that's their UMG records. So when they go out, then I can like sort of spill more of the beans on how I'm using it. But the Rhyme headphones, what they did is they had a 9.1.4 rig of their Neumann system set up.
Mm,
You know their headphone thing, the Neumann head, where you
yeah.
can change, yeah. they ran impulses from each of the speaker positions
Mm.
and then have flipped the impulses somehow in the re-render, so that way if you feed it like a 714 or a 916, it actually takes each of those
Placement.
positions,
Yeah.
those placements, reverses the impulse from the reading in that Atmos room, and then you put your head dimensions in and it changes the interaural difference based on that head unit recording. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it is really, really good. Like, it is really good. The only exception, the LFE channel, is sort of like there, not there. Like, it's a bit weird. Like, and most of the time, I actually, to be honest, any time I end up using the LFE channel, I end up popping it back out because I don't like it.
Mm.
Because it's very rare that I've needed to. Like, there's been an effect for it, but
Do you oh, sorry to go off, but yeah.
no, it's really fucking on. Like, it's really on.
Man, I'm gonna have to try that. Yeah, I
You
tried
got to
some
use
Neumann
their
speakers.
headphones though.
Use their headphones. That's okay. Rhyme with their headphones. Gotta use it.
Yeah,
All right, bet.
because it's
I'm
yeah, because
gonna
the
see what's good with them.
try it
Cause
because the curve's calibrated for the headphones. The impulse is calibrated for the headphones, so when it
okay,
inverses, it comes back to that response of that headphone microphone there. It's just I was weirded out. It took me a while to like get it set up, but once I got it set up, and then I'm like, what? Like,
that's awesome. Have you
yeah,
ever tried the Sony RA360?
I
Uh,
need to. People have
man,
like,
especially they just announced their integration with Pro Tools. They're a few years a little slow, but like better late than never. So that's
yeah,
gonna be,
okay,
you know,
wow. You doing
um,
anything in 360 or like,
dude, no, like earlier this year, like what was it, like around early April, like the first or second week, I took down my whole 360 setup just because I haven't gotten like calls or like, you know, the labels weren't asking for like the 360 version of it. It's just been, you know, the ADM. So I'm just like, I haven't gotten this in a few months. I'm just like, I've been, you know, talking to the community about it. Like, hey, who's doing 360? I got my boy, you know, these dope engineer in LA, Kevin. Uh, he's fucking killing the 360 game, and I I've known him for a minute, but I just haven't gotten the calls. I took it down, and then literally like earlier this month, like whenever Avid announced their like new integration with Sony 360, I'm like, uh, you know, I'm just like, oh wow, I got to go set it back up, you know, because like now people are gonna
yeah,
start having the access to create, you know. But I saw it was like,
yeah,
I'm not sure if it's like a full license to their Walk Mix or their Cakewalk uh, software, but I think it's like it should be enough to like actually deliver files. I think Tully is like the only, shout out to Joyner Lucas. I think Tully is the only DSP that like has 360
yeah.
uploading playback capabilities, or like
Actually,
or
curious for DSPs, what common DSPs do Atmos? Because all the
let's
Atmos that I've delivered has been to labels, so it's like a black box to me. I don't fucking know. But like for
oh yeah,
independents, if they need to release Atmos, where do they go?
oh not DSP, they're what that's like Apple Music, Spotify. We're talking about like CD Baby, TuneCore,
Yeah, like
Distro.
aggregators. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like because that's what Tully is, and they take 360. All right, for like independents that want it, I know DistroKid does it. Avid, I think it's called like Avid Play, or Play, like whatever, whichever
Okay.
one Avid distributes
Yeah,
is
Avid have
called.
their own thingo. Yeah, yeah.
That one's pretty does Atmos. I'm pretty sure TuneCore has the option. Um,
Okay.
and and Tully does not have the option. If Tully did, I'd be telling people to go to Tully, and like then it'd be a completely different game. Because like now you have 360 and you have like like Atmos, and it's gonna be like, you know, then like the gloves are really getting thrown off. I feel like, you know, just in the sense of creatives.
That's
Um,
interesting.
it is interesting because you know, like
Yeah.
whenever I see like the 360 ads, it's always like uh there's like for like the production side of things more so, like you see like the producers cooking up in 360, and then like I've seen like the Atmos ads, they're just like, you know, like more experiencing the music and immersive. So it's interesting, like the marketing for both. But like I know that what 360 is really big in like the video game world, I believe. You know.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. One of the conversations and one of like the big leverage points I think Atmos has, at least the spatial audio re-renders with Apple Music, is the fact that Apple have a whole media vertical integration between distribution, the tools to play it back on, the VR, the App
They
Store.
have an
Like, it's
ecosystem.
just, they have a whole thing. So it's like, it's a whole world of leverage for that technology. So for an
Yeah.
artist, it's like, oh, should I release? I'm not going to make any money back on the streams or this, that, the other. But then in my head, I'm thinking, wait a second. These devices people have in their hand is access to media, and what happens on every form of media? Advertisements and ads. And what does every ad need? It needs music. And then if you can have
Yeah.
Atmos assets ready for a publisher, it's like, that's not a now
That's
thing, that's a
interesting,
future
bro.
proof. That's a
Well,
future proof thing.
yeah, I mean, that's very true. Like, I guess like a lot of those like bigger conversations, like I guess with the more bigger players, are like, is the ADM like the archival for the future, or like, the 12 stems, or like the 12 channels. Is that going to be the way we
Yeah.
archive like our future projects? You know,
Yeah.
Mm, I don't know. I know we got a bunch of tapes still somewhere in a mountain, but
Yeah, but that's how stereo and tape and every format sort of like survives, is that it survives through the media people consume. Like the
1,000%.
like
Well,
that's how
even
it
like
survives.
Google and what app YouTube releasing
Yeah.
their own immersive audio and coming up with their own
Okay.
immersive audio, because I know they're trying to get it for like the influencers. Um,
Okay.
I forget. There's like this shoot. See, I didn't jump on it fast enough, and it slipped my mind the process it is. But basically, it's like we want to give influencers like spatial audio for their videos and stuff, and it's coming to that point. So it can just be an
Mm.
option. But now that let's that's just like one part of the industry. You brought up like ads like having music. What are you have you like how's Suno AI or like AI created music been for like your thoughts? Or is that something that any of your clients have been like worried about? Or like I know like we have colleagues that are just like either like it's garbage or like oh no, it's the end of the world. So it's like where do you kind of like sit in there?
I think my clients aren't too concerned. Like I think the creative writers, like as in um basically writers in the room, people who go in on writing session stuff, they're a little bit more conscious of how those services leverage their IP. Like we were
Mm,
really lucky in Australia where there was a big push against AI using IP to develop um like their AI platforms basically. So now without consent
okay.
they can't go in and take any Australian licensed music in this territory to develop AI. Which is
Interesting.
like, I think that's really good. Now I don't know
Uh,
the exact details of it, but basically what happened is there was a law getting passed and it was like, oh, AI companies, free fair use of using like publicly available music, and then people are like, no, fuck no, we don't want them like getting commercial benefit off using this stuff. So I think the writers in the room are particularly concerned. I think like your touring artist or your producer or whatnot, it's on the fringes, but it's not like a
yeah.
core sort of like
Yeah.
killer.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, and I'm like, and obviously like, I started messing with like Suno example, like I was messing around with that in like 2021, and that's before you could be like, okay, give me the stems or like, can you remix this a little like to, give it like different kinds of prompts. Now it's like spitting out, it's like stems and giving it pretty decent like the warble or like the warping has gone very much less, you know.
oh yeah, yeah, like with pulling out multis from stereo files and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's yeah, that sort of stuff. But I think that's like a good tool to be able to leverage.
Oh, I just
Like
meant for like the creation of sounds. Like so, like let's
yeah,
say
oh,
kids
okay,
kids like being like, oh well, I don't need to like hire a band or anything to like make a record. I can put the lyrics in, it'll come out mixed and like the AI will master it.
N-
You know?
Nah, nah, that's not gonna. Nah, it's not that it's not gonna happen. It will happen, but the degree to which it happens is limited in the output. I'll give you the actually no, it's limited to the input. So
Mm.
a very to get to a point of. Do you play any musical instruments?
No, but I can touch. I can touch things.
Okay, all right. Actually, any skill, even outside of the music industry, like if you're really mad ass baller or whatever, like you can shoot you can shoot hoops really well, or you can roll on a jits mat, or for me it's
You
like
roll?
for music, like no, my son absolutely demolishes me. He does. Uh, what I'm trying to say is to get competent at anything, you have to put a high level of input in to learn the nuance of it, to understand the theory of it, to understand the application, the integration, everything. Okay?
Mhm.
With that, you have the knowledge to know what inputs to give AI if you were to use it. Now, I'm not going to turn this into an AI podcast, but it's like
No.
if you don't know what good music is and you say to Sora or any AI, give me good music, but you don't have the taste to understand what good music is, it can spit you out anything and you'll be like, oh, that's great. And then go try and release it. And it gets 20 streams and people are laughing it up. Like, what the hell is this shit? So you have
Yeah.
to have some sense of good taste and application and integration. Like, that's just, like, it won't replace that. It can have that. Like, you can give it the input to create that, but you have to
Yeah.
have that to begin with. And then you're discerning in yourself to know what works there and what doesn't. So you're going to end up going back to the drawing board. It becomes analysis paralysis because you're feeding something that, like, you're not
Yeah.
getting.
I'm not getting
Yeah,
that hit. It's not that hit.
I'm not getting. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's good, but it's like
Yeah.
I'm not concerned with it. It's like people will use it as they need to. You know who's using it really cool? Um, Will Borzer. He put this out on his on the interview I did with him when I was in LA, and he does stereo mastering. And he's like, if people want a Dolby Atmos upmix, I just stem split it, and they're good to get going. It's like it's not the most creative use of it, but it's like if somebody wants access to it and he's got a great musical taste and ear and ability to engineer a record, cool.
Yeah, man. Facts. Like why? Like and that's a thing too. Is just like why? You know, it's interesting because what that gets dinged, or like some records don't get dinged. I forget who I was chatting with recently that was like very that you know they were just telling me like no matter what any stem splitter you use like you're gonna get kicked off like you're not gonna be able to be uploaded. I'm like okay.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
that's what
For
yeah.
Atmos?
Yeah. And I'm like like the Apple detection's getting better, but like I believe like my rebuttal is
Interesting.
always like, well, it depends on the engineer, you know. So it sounds like
That's a weird one.
yeah, because
Yeah.
Apple's like creating what their new algorithm to detect anything that's been separated from the stereo master or source separated. Um,
Oh, so
so
like from the stereo master source separated down. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
yeah. So
No,
like
I'm stressing for myself because I'm like, fuck, I put out Atmos mixes, but I'm like, they're from the stems the mixing engineer sent me,
yeah, so
separate
that's
to the
not no.
master. So it's
You're
like,
good.
yeah, so that's not
You're
gonna get fucked.
Gucci.
Yeah, I'm
You're
like,
Gucci.
yeah.
No, like there's like some like because like there's some records you'll hear that are like the stereo master in every channel, you know, and
Oh yeah,
if
no, that shit gets flagged. Yeah.
yeah, and but some of them get passed, you know, and like some really big records are like that, and it feels good in the room. So like you know, can you hate like the immersive mixer for it or like no, like the you know the world's bumping it, like you know, so how much slack is there? You know, then it gets
Yeah.
like I guess then that's when it gets personal, right? And people get very like up in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're probably aware of it just as much as anyone else, but like, not every project you work on is like the most perfectly teed up. Everything is cross T's, dot I's. Sometimes people are like, this is what you got. It's an iPhone recording and it's a MP3 128 kilobits per second. Make it work. Or
Yeah,
even for Dolby Atmos, it can be like the
1000%.
A&R might have just stem split the stereo master and sent it off to you without you even knowing. And it's like, this is what
Yeah.
you got to work with. You know what I
I
mean? So,
Dude, yeah, no, I mean, I have a yeah, dev I don't know if I can s there's let me change the subject. Have you seen the new Bruce Springsteen movie?
no, I haven't.
Man, I never really knew about Bruce and his story, like, only, like, born in the USA, good old USA
Okay,
boy.
yeah.
But, like, the movie was really interesting because like, I have on my, like, blog, dealermademusic.com, that's, like, where I do a bunch of, like, immersive reviews and, like, just, like,
Okay,
everything,
cool.
like, about Dolby Atmos and, like, some tips and tricks, like, some guides are up there. And, I've, like, go watch all these immersive films and listen to these records, and I saw the Bruce one, and I was like, "Wow, this is, like, very, like, 5/1-ish, like, kinda like stereo," and I'm just like, "I can't, like, write this like, I can't review this thing. I gotta, like, go to the studio. I gotta listen to his, like, work before I even, like, actually listen, like, because like, maybe the
Yeah,
immersive is, like, an incredible representation of his actual work." And,
yeah.
I pull up, like, Nebraska and stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, shit, this is mono." I'm like "Oh, shit."
Oh, okay.
I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, so that changes the complete, like, view of, like I'm like, "How does what an art form to, like, bring this in an immersive way." Like, the way that it was, because like, imagine you have to bring this incredible record that's been, like, coveted for, like, a long time, and
Yeah.
you have to change it, but it has to feel the exact same, and we've only ever heard it mono, you know? So it's like,
So then
I'm
the
just like,
immersive is in mono.
"No, no, no, it's not."
Okay.
It's like it's Dolby Atmos, but, like,
Okay, but
how
you're
does
saying you went back to the studio to listen to the original one.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
and
now I'm
the
tracking. Sorry.
yeah, sorry about that if I wasn't clear. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
like,
no, you're
because
probably
I was in the theater listening to the Dolby Atmos of the film, and I'm like, "Okay, it's like 5/1, like, there's a lot of, like, good feels." I'm like, but kinda like I'm like, "Hmm." I'm like, "They really didn't push it." And then I'm like, before I, like, really give my piece, like, let me listen to the original. So I came to the studio and I was like, "Oh, wow. Wow, they did a lot of work." There is a lot of work that had to be done to, like, keep this
okay.
energy, you know?
Yeah.
So and I've, like, gone to do I've been fortunate and blessed enough to work on, like, some old records, like, for Donna Summer and, some other, like, great, great, incredible artists that we'd have to, like, take the reels, like, the multi-track
Yeah, yeah,
raw
yeah.
reels
Were they have live shows or were they have albums?
albums, greatest
Okay.
hits. And,
Yeah. All right.
like, one of the tracks for Donna was, there's, like, an hour of just recording, and it was, like, 48 tracks of just, like, raw records, and, the label's like, "Here's the stereo master." Go make it happen. So you have to, like, figure all like, correct for, like, tape drift, correct for, like, you have to remix the record, you have to, like, bring it to stereo, find the correct parts, and, so, like, that's not an easy feat at any regard, so,
No.
like, finding that out from, like, that's why I came back to that Bruce record, I was like, "Wow, okay, this is not like, whoever engineered this, like, they had to put a lot of work into this, kudos." But, if you go
Yeah.
watch that film, it just ties back into, like, the artist. He is, like, it's a film about, like, his spoiler, it's just, like, a film about, like, him, developing his, like, depression and stuff as an artist. It's not so much
Okay.
about the music, it's good to see, like, about the person, and, like, everybody goes through that kinda stuff, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
But, he recorded that project on a Tascam in like, his basement, and, like, he would take
Yeah.
like, with his friend that now became his engineer. And,
Okay.
he's just like, "This is the album. This is the album." So he takes it to his manager, they take it to the studio, the best engineers, like, start mixing it, like, start producing it, and he's just like, "This sounds like shit. Like, this isn't it. Like, this isn't my record. Like, it doesn't feel like my demo." Like, and it was like, you've definitely probably seen that, and I know I've seen that quite a bit, like,
Oh yeah.
in rooms where, like, I'm like, "Yeah, I feel that, like, this is what the artist says," like, and you're either gonna be, like, on the artist's side or you're gonna be on, like, the opposition. So, like, that's whenever you're like, "Yeah, I believe in this art enough to be like, what you say, like, you know what, maybe it's not correct. Maybe it's not like, you know, maybe everything's clipping and it's saturated, or like, like it's just EQ'd weird,
Mhm.
right? Like it's not engineeringly correct, but the artist knows that it feels incredible and like that this is
Yeah.
how they're expressing themselves. XXX Tentacion for incredible example, and
Yeah.
that's like what changes our industry is whenever you have an undeniable artist that believes in their art that way and that you have a team that supports them. So kind of like, yeah, sorry if that was like a long go around about, you know, saving the integrity of like music and some things that,
Okay.
they sound bad, but like they end up being really important.
Then if we make this full circle with Atmos, for the most part, when people finish a record, they don't know the Atmos vision. They don't know that. They don't, because
Yeah.
it's uncreated. It's just like there will be an Atmos. We've created the music. There will be an Atmos, and I would assume not everybody gets to jump in the studio with you in an immersive setup. So they're always listening to the binaural or the MP4 re-render on their Apple AirPods. How does that go? Because
You,
that can live
yeah,
either really close or really far away from them to what they want.
yeah. So I'll give you an example of like how I've received a few clients like because of
Mm?
that issue is because
Yep.
sometimes like let's say on the major side of things, or like whenever there's like the artist is just focused on the art, and then they have their project released, and my manager's handling like the rest of it. I made the music, like the team's gonna handle the rest. I don't gotta think about it until release day, and then I gotta like
Yeah.
gotta talk about it. And then they hear the Dolby Atmos version, like, and then they're like, "What the fuck is that? Like, I've never heard this version. Like, those aren't my 808s. My voice sounds weird. They're like, what the, like, who, like, like, well,
Yeah.
why is my bounce off? Like, the mids are different, you know?
Yeah.
So I've gotten clients that way whenever it's just like, you know what? I never approved the Dolby version, and the one that I received wasn't to my liking because it took away that integrity that like I tried to preserve, right? That I like worked so hard for. I worked so
Yeah.
hard to like
Okay.
make this entire like project, this whole like story of my life, part of my life, and now it's like gone away. Like
Yeah.
its debut, it's been like stripped from its like essence. So I'm very big on like making sure my translation is one, like just being very clear with the art, like the client, whoever it is, that like um I'm gonna send you a link to listen to. You're gonna be able to. I use Samply. Shouts to Samply. Um,
Uh-huh.
I send the MP4, and the only issue usually that I get, not an issue, but the question's like, "Hey, this is pretty quiet," and then that's when I'm just like, "Oh, well, it's about 10 dB quieter than the stereo, just because of like that's the Dolby Atmos standard versus like our stereo standard." Then it's like pretty easy, like from there. But usually I'm sending the
Okay.
MP4 via Samply. I was using From Smash for a while until like just files started getting like more, and I just had to keep getting like folders. But From
Yeah.
Smash is an incredible way to send immersive testers, like your MP4s, because they have a great like algorithm for spatial audio. Um,
Okay. So Samply, it has spatial. So if you send it on Samply as an MP4, as the re-rendered MP4, they're able to play the spatial audio on their AirPods just off Samply.
yeah. And then like if then on Sampler you can also just like have notes there too if there's any issues.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Of course.
um but yeah, so that's usually how I send it. Or like I recently had a session where did the I did it over Zoom live with them, and
Yeah. And they're
that was,
getting a binaural or.
yeah, so they're getting the binaural, and
Okay.
and that's pretty cool. Just so they can
Interesting.
experience it. There's also the audio movers. I've done this like not with my work, but like at Ken's studio, we've used it before.
Huh?
That you can actually send a 7.1.4 live audio feed to like anybody who has an immersive audio setup, and they can like listen to it live as well. So that one's pretty fun.
Interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, usually like uh it's not really an issue. I've come to
Okay.
find the issue's more been
Yeah.
like being like the teaching side of like, oh, why is it like why is it more quiet, or like why is it um or like how like the from smash was kind of difficult because like I'd always have to be like, okay, make sure like you have your spatial audio turned on and stuff. But like with sampling, it's usually just a lot easier. They just press the link and it kind
Yeah.
of like loads up.
Interesting. Yeah, no, because I'm just trying to understand that. I've been in the fortunate position where nobody's knocked back anything Atmos I've done. They've just been
Nice.
like sort of cool with it. Actually, no, really cool with it.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I've been like, I'll do that thing you did to Ken Lewis. Like, I'm coming for you, but no, I'm not.
Yeah,
No,
no, yeah,
because
you
like
should. You should. That's
in, in
steel sharpens steel.
in my yeah, in my DMs and emails, like they're fucking ecstatic. But I think that's because recently what I've been doing is I've got the stereo master in, which is always you need to have as a reference, the
Mm,
binaural re-render, and the rhyme, and I'm jumping between all three, constantly level matched.
facts.
So I'm like, like that way I'm like, oh, this is a little bit out. Oh, I can pull it back in, or that's a
Yeah.
little bit for and then, or that's you know what I mean. Like I've got so many reference points that
Oh man, you
even
have
if I've
to.
got something swirling around the room, like I'm always locking back into that original sort of thing, that sort of intent.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
have a dad man and like an Avid Matrix in here. So
yeah,
I'm like, on my literally on my desk, I just like switch through like the binaural, the master, even the direct, and also like the Apple Spatial, and you're just
yeah,
like, uh, you're completely right, and especially like it's all about translation, and you're probably like you're a gangster with that, award-winning immersive engineer. I mean, I mean, mastering engineer, bro. Like,
yeah. But,
you're like, this is definitely your ballpark. Like QC and everything is like people don't a lot. I will say like I am very gracious because like I love working with other engineers because like sometimes they're like I'm too busy with stereo. Like here like here's the immersive. Like I know you can like take that, and like they trust me with all of that work because we've just become we've built a great relationship like that, you know,
yeah,
because they don't, and also it's like they're too busy. Like a lot of people are like, why do I have to like, I can't waste my time right now to like do a bunch of this other work when I've got like 30 mixes in the line, you know?
yeah.
So it's just like, it's good to like, build those kinds of teams, but also just like, sorry, I had a brain for it.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. What's like the biggest lessons you learned being in the room with Ken, if not just a part of the process with him?
You know, that's an awesome question. And like, um, the biggest thing, whenever I started getting in the room with Ken and like actually like sitting in to like watch him like learn how he's mixing records, and like when he was teaching me like, or we'd collaborate on some mixes, I'm learning like, because I'm not at that point like I'm still I'm coming for him like, he's got
Yeah,
like 87 Grammy noms, I'm coming for him, bro. We got 4 of them. I'm on the way. But like just listening to his moves, just like if you and I go into a studio and I ask you to like master some records for me, I'm gonna like really I'm gonna pay attention to the choices that you make, and I'm gonna understand, and I'm not gonna like question any of your choices because I need to understand what you're listening for, you know, because like you've come to great resolves, so it's like my trust into like your moves that I'm like what I'm gonna pick out from like your learning, because like it's just like understanding how you hear things and your reactions, you know,
mm,
um, more so than anything. Like, I had a in New York. Shouts to JR the Goat. He like he was like one of A Boogie's dudes, and he was really helpful for me a lot because like he was teaching me a lot about like the business and like just like how to operate on that side of things, not not so much like how to engineer, because like by that point like you know, I was like engineering, like that's you should already be at a great level if you're like even stepping into any of these rooms. You know what I mean? Unless like
yeah,
you're an intern, unless like you're becoming like you're ready to become this, like where you're at. But like what I've like learned is just like the reaction and like how you handle situations, you know. Um I can't speak much of like some of these like what the work we've done due to the fact of like the caliber it is, just like as you. But like, for Taylor, like I didn't even know it was for Taylor. Like I was just in the studio for like 5 days and I didn't leave, you know? And
Yeah.
and then like 6 months later I'm in the studio, it's 1 in the fucking morning, and my wife calls me, you're on Taylor Swift, you're on 3 songs. And I'm like flabbergasted because like, that's something you don't, you just show up. But I'm officially credited as an assistant engineer. So I was an assistant, like, so yeah, hell yeah.
I
So
yeah. I think
yeah.
you're credited as an engineer.
Uh, nope, on the vinyls, assistant engineer.
Ah, okay.
On Taylor
All
Swift,
right.
yeah, Midnights. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but not sheesh. I would have had my little statue, but that's coming. That's coming. That would have been too soon, you know. Uh,
Fair enough.
Um,
That's yeah, that's interesting. And you know what's funny when you say that?
hmm,
Um that is not uncommon.
what?
Like just being completely in the blind about what the project you're working on is or who it's for or what's going on or you know what I mean? Like
Well, yeah, well, you don't know who it's for, but you know at the level that you're playing, you know,
yeah, exactly.
because because like there's like standards, right? Or like the people you're like getting the call from are like it's not Billy Bob from down the block, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it's just like, you get that kind of call, and it's just, you as every professional in our field, every like brother and sister in arms, like we're in these trenches, we're in these like work, and you treat everything with the same amount of care and the same amount of love. So whenever that just comes across your desk, it's like always getting the same amount of care, the same amount of love, But like if you're not ready for that, like maybe you're too new or you're too fresh, and you freak out and you're just like, oh my gosh, like this is like a major label project, and like you like, I have
yeah,
to put my stamp on it. I have to like make sure they know it was me. I have to make sure like, and then you really mess yourself up instead of
yeah,
being like, I was called because of a specific ability of mine,
yeah,
and I'm contributing to this bigger picture, this bigger team. And because like the goal is the end song, you know what I mean? So it's just
and
like, yeah.
yeah, and you got to show up. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter
bro.
who it's for. You just show up. You know,
Yeah,
like
that's the thing. It's like, cause like I like um indie artists, bro. Like shout out to every single independent artist I work with. Like, uh, you know, they're so incredible, and like every piece, every mix, like because I talk to some of these clients, and they're just like, oh well, like I know you're working on like these big records, like if you have the time to like work on mine like that, and I'm just like, how could you think that I wouldn't like give you the same amount of care, like
yeah,
this is like like my product is your product, I'm only here for
yeah,
you, and I'm only here because of you, not you specifically, but like the whole purpose of you, you know? Like my
yeah,
goal is to make sure like your art translates to the world. And like
yeah.
a lot of people maybe aren't at that point in their career yet, you know, because like of who knows what.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. And what's interesting about that is that sometimes the pedigree of what you're working on with an indie artist is miles above that of a major record. So it's like people, and this is maybe just more a message for the independent artists, not to talk themselves down or out of something.
Yeah, that is
Like
so
they
true.
should, like, just because it's independent doesn't mean it's worse, doesn't mean it's less than or any of that, and doesn't mean that. And this is where I think your mindset is very valued, um, and should be highlighted because it is easy for people to sort of push to the side an indie artist based on, and we've heard these like sort of like jaded engineers before being like, oh, what do they know? Or, like I've been doing this for 20, 30 years. I'm going to do it my way. And then artists feel shit about it after the process.
Dude, yeah, that's so
Uh,
you know, man, that's the only like that's the only reason I got involved in like the music industry. Like, I was 15, I was rapping. I'm still rapping, not
Yeah,
as but I was like, I need to start going to the studio. I'm like, I'm gonna get my mom a crib. I'm gonna get my pop a car. Like, I see rappers doing it, so like that's how you do it. That was the leeway. So I started taking my
yeah,
money, investing in these studios in Pittsburgh, and I was just like, I was in there every week, and I was just throwing so much money in the engine, and like the music wasn't getting better. Like I was paying for these producers, I was paying for these engineers. And I'm like, guys, like, can you tell me like that? I remember one day I'm like, tell me like what you're doing on the board, and like or like what software you're using, because I'm like something just feels off, like it's not locking in. And they're like, bro, don't worry, like you don't worry about that. You're the artist, like Grant. I'm 16 years old, but I'm like, but I'm giving you thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? And it's just
yeah,
like are you just taking the money and just, like, giving me an okay product? Because like, it's easy for you to just, like, have some presets or something, you know what I mean? Uh,
yeah. Like,
so, like, I went and invested that into my own equipment, I went to Guitar Center, Best Buy, bought that, and I started, like, my little studio type shit. Like, but, like,
yeah,
that's the thing to, like, not take advantage of artists, like, in this.
yeah. I think it's an ego thing less than taking advantage. It's almost like this is my thing. What would you know? Like, and then it, and then the problem is the negative of it is that there's a net loss for everybody because the artists don't do well, the engineers don't do well, the product doesn't do well, it doesn't go out well, and it's like, well, then it's just a huge vanity project where the engineer thought they were quote unquote engineering and helping the artist thought they were getting a result because they were paying for it, but nobody gets anywhere. And yeah, I think something that I can appreciate of at least my peers, for the most part, the ones that I'm close with, is that they show the fuck up.
Facts.
They come to they come to the studio, they come to a project, they come to the record. Doesn't matter who it's for,
Yeah,
and they're knuckling down. Like
facts.
they're knuckled down and locked in. Um, and yeah, and I think that that's just a testament to the way you got to work. Like,
I
just
mean, like
is.
what else do we like? What else is there? I mean, you can get a different job. Like, you could do this as a hobby. You know what I mean? But like, like, just don't like just this is because this is serious. Like,
Yeah,
on
it's
a
serious,
real
and
like real level. Like, this is our business. Like, this is how we pay bills. This is how you like, this is how I'm buying my parents a house. Like, type shit. Like, so of course, like
yeah.
at one point, like it's gonna be very serious. Like, but obviously, like you get different like faces for like the people you're around and stuff, because like and the people that throw down like yourself, like you had incredible line of releases. Uh, I think you had one today. Shouts to you. You're always showing up.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I've got. Yeah, wait till later in the week. I think I've got like something like 70 or something. I got to put on the
Dude,
on the gram from the
yo,
last month. I've just
congratulations.
been a
That's
bit
awesome.
slow and lazy. But no, thank you. No, no, it's it. Yeah, I'll let you continue. I just like I'm trying to think what happened today, and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, okay,
No,
that's
I
what
get
I'm
that,
rolling with.
and it's like it's interesting because like you're like or just like how we social media, the power of social media and having to put yourself out there consistently just to like kind of be seen in the always not maybe get forgotten or something. Like it's just become
Yeah,
such a big thing. You see everybody with like just like their own thing now, and that's cool. Like everybody's like has to have their social media presence, or else like maybe you won't get that client, or maybe you won't get that position. Like I don't know, you just won't get seen for something. But it's just becoming very like a very dominant thing that I believe everybody in the industry has just got to start doing, right? And I'm
they have
like
to do it.
I'm lacking on the social media
You're
game.
lacking. You're lacking. You've got good creds under your name, so that like holds really well. But for me, it's like it shows competency because
Mm,
it's like, oh, you did a great record 15 years ago. Cool.
yeah.
And your last Instagram post was from 326 weeks ago. Cool. How have you showed up every day for the last 3 years? Like, where? Show me the receipts, basically. I'm like really stickler for it. Some people think it's a little bit over the top, but I'm like, no. I want to see the engineers I'm rolling with and the producers I'm working for putting it out, and
Yeah.
like it, everybody wins. the artist gets visibility. It's good networking for everybody. It's good branding. People can, you know what? It's good transparency as well, because then artists might rock up and be like, I don't like the records you did. Lucky I saw that. I like the records this guy did. Cool.
Yeah.
They get better choice. Or they might go, shit, I wasn't going to work with you, but I just saw you worked with so-and-so, and that's a really cool record. I'm down with that. So look, I think it's a
So
win-win-win-win
true.
situation, and only weeds out the people who who are sort of the faking it to them they can make it, where they've got like 12 records they did for the whole, like 12 singles they did for the whole year,
Yeah.
and they've got the most awesome website that's branded beautifully, but they did 12 songs and they're not
No,
putting in the game and they can't keep up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to throw shade there. I'm just like trying to like
yeah,
show
and
that
also
there's levels to it.
facts, but also like and again, I guess just like because there's levels to it. Like it depends on like who you're in the room with, right? Because like
Yeah.
I like when I was like in New York or just like even here, like right now I'm like in like the Kentucky Cincinnati area, and
Yeah.
you know the world still thinks I'm in New York because that's how we're hustling. But
Yeah.
you know, you don't bring like sometimes like you know I don't pull that cell phone out like you know like the art like this it's this private space for like the artist, but that's more like when I'm engineering, like you know where it's just like you're the engineer for the at the studio, and they're there to like create. Which
Yeah.
have you done like you've done tracking engineering
Yeah.
or
Like
like
as an intern, like a decade ago. So
I feel
like the
that yeah
most, trust me, even plugging in a microphone for this podcast is stressful for me. I'm like, what? Oh, phantom power. That's right. You're gonna use that shit.
oh bro
Cool.
I've had some crazy sessions but like in those sessions like one of like you know the artists or like who you're with like you know sometimes you don't get seen you know but you're making like waves in the studio realms or like in the engineering cycles and you're getting like
Yeah.
hella breath you know and other than those people like just aren't worried about the socials because you know their focus is like kind of their clientele, um, which is
Yeah.
cool. But then like where then it kind of gets to the point of just like where do you want to go from there? You know, it's just like because now it's like all right, we start popping out. Like maybe I want to get like a bigger clients or like more consistent like label releases. Now I gotta like show that I'm already working for labels, but like they just gotta like start like seeing that I'm already in the system like publicly because A&Rs don't know me like on a friendly basis. You know, they only like
Yeah.
been like that's like the studio rat that kind of like just in that bitch. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. No, I get it, but like I look at it like long term. Like you're
Yeah,
not posting it for today. You're not posting it for the amount of likes or the clicks or this shit that the other. It's
that's
so
true.
that in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years time, maybe those people that were in the room with you on that engineering session aren't in the game anymore. They're doing another thing or they've got a different sort of trajectory. You've
Mm,
still got those receipts showing that you showed up. Like that to me
facts.
is like where the like it can be a bit of a vanity project, but for me it's like the long term. I'm
Yeah.
doing this for 10 years. Well, guess what? In another 10 years, I should have 20,000 freaking Instagram posts with every freaking engineer in every continent, in every state. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, facts. That's
that,
awesome.
that that's where I want the spread to be. Like,
No, that's an incredible like attack.
yeah, because otherwise I think what, especially if engineers starting out where they're trying to make their game, is they're trying to make one big win.
Yeah.
They're trying to land one massive record. They're trying to make one really cool post that goes viral and everybody starts wanting to work with them. Or they want to take one photo of their studio set up with their new KRKs or whatever the hell they got. And they want everybody to come in and book sessions, and they're going to be booked out for the next 12 months straight and make bank off
Oof.
one thing. But
Yeah, that's
it's
tough.
like nobody does that. Everybody's career is like, and look to Ken. Like how many
Yeah.
his multi-decade career, like
Facts. He's like over 30 years. You know, shouts to
30
him.
years. Exactly. But
You know,
every
shouts to us.
single
We're
day,
we're getting there.
I'm already over a decade, so I can wear a badge of honor on that.
There we
But
go.
like, but I'm assuming he wouldn't. I don't. would look to one very specific record and say, because I did this record, every other record I got, people said, oh, because you did this, I'm booking you, I'm booking you, I'm booking you. Only on one step he did. That's
Yeah, no,
bullshit.
I don't think
No,
so. No, like,
exactly. So that's why I'm saying, the receipts matter. That's why I'm like, when I'm saying I'm going to be putting out this week 60 something, I think I got to update it. I've got a playlist on Spotify that I pull from, and I'm like, okay, these are all the ones in the last month that I haven't published.
dude,
I show those receipts.
and that's such a good point. Like, I've always been so like uh very captive about my stuff, just like so quiet about it, because like I'm just like, all right, well, I'm working. But like that's like such a good like representation, because like I've gone like, usually I get my work from like references or like people finding my name through credits. um
Yeah,
like I've got some Pusha T credits in there, and like that's led more like hip hop projects, or just
yeah,
like, just like as the hip hop keeps going, like engineers being like, hey, I like how your vocals sounded in the immersive, like can you do that for like my record? But like that's so true, is like, if you don't if you're not promoting yourself, like if you're not actually showing like all this, the work that you do, it's like, it doesn't matter if you do it, somebody else is probably gonna get that call, you know
yeah,
because like, because nowadays it's just like, it's just so like flooded with content that like I don't think people are really going to credits like how they used to for like vinyls, right? Oh, I gotta see who like did all this. Like nowadays it's just like,
no,
oh my gosh, hey, Nicholas DiLorenzo is the best mastering engineer, because I've been following him for years, and like why the fuck would I go with anyone else?
yeah.
Right?
Or they see me tagged on one of my artists or one of the
Of course,
labels or one of
the
the
reference. Yeah,
producers. They see me tagged on a story, and then they
yeah,
start hitting me up through that.
thousand
So it's
percent.
like, that's just how I see it. I think that's just, but that's just about
No,
showing up and being in the game, and I reckon that there's huge credit and validity to that. Um,
no
you
fact.
taking the flight, but before we wrap up, you're taking a flight out next Jan. You heading out to LA?
I probably am. I'll be there like what, I think the 20th through the 28th.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that'll be fun. I'll probably be like, sheesh, we can't give our location. I'll probably be in the valley, and tripping to Anaheim and seeing what's
Oh
good.
man.
Um,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm trying to justify out there. Didn't get any releases this year, like any nominations this year just yet, but we were considered. But
I thought you did.
no, oh no, not this year. I had a few in the pot. We had a few in the pot. Um,
Oh, okay. We had a bunch in the pot as well, but I honestly thought you did. You pulled through on this one.
no, man, no. I wish you know everybody's just getting ready for next year. The 68th is
Ah,
okay. We got the 67th. I got two. Oh, here, I got these.
okay.
My plaques just came in. Hold up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We just got 67th. Shout that works so well for the memes. 67th, man, and like, what's even better than the 67th? The 69th. So I'm gunning
Okay.
for the 69th Grammys.
Oh, nice. Oh man, actually, you know what? This isn't anything to the Recording Academy. The Latin Grammy,
Mm.
the way they deliver it, and the paperwork and like the end, way cleaner than the actual one.
Yeah, I got
And
this
it's
in a
not
piece
like,
of cardboard.
yeah, no, so I got the Latin one, the normal one up there. The Latin one came in like a bifold thing with the little paper clipped in, and it's got watermark background, and the emboss on it
Oh, that's tough.
is it's like it's got it. The normal one
Watermark
looks like you could,
background. This is
yeah,
some
like it's
cardboard.
yeah, it's like a blue watermark background of the record, and then on the bottom right of the Latin one, it's got a like a silver holographic Recording Academy gramophone on it as well.
That's
Like
epic.
the latter one went all out. And then so I thought the main one was gonna be real baller, and then it's just coming like two bits of cardboard, and then you take one off, it'll flops out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? What's
Oh,
going
bro.
on?
Then you pop the champagne.
Yeah. Oh man. All good. Hey man, I'm gonna drop off this pod because I gotta get
Dude,
rolling into another meeting, but it's
of
been
course.
good jamming with you. We're gonna link up. I'm gonna fingers and nuts crossed. I want to really make it out in Jan. Um,
Yeah, if not, like, hopefully I'll be down under soon. You know,
You
I've been
you
thinking
gonna
about taking a
travel
trip
through
out
this
there.
way or yeah? Oh, you know what you don't want to miss out on? Check my latest
Mm.
video out on the synth temple.
Dude, I saw that. That's is that in Australia?
That's in Melbourne. That's like 40 minutes away from my studio.
Oh, that's epic. Yeah,
It's
uh,
but the
that's great.
Atmos rig in there, if you like Atmos, it's a 9.1.4 with 3 Genelec subs in a 200 square meter room. So a
Interesting.
massive room with
Mm,
huge Genelecs 9.1.4, 3 subwoofers that are like 5 foot tall.
yeah.
It
Whoa,
is
that's
out of
dude.
this world.
When you were in LA, did you get to go to like Interscope Records to like check out any of their
No,
space spots? Yo,
no.
they
Did you?
yeah, yeah, I was in that. We had some sessions in there, and
Okay.
and I got to like check out their new immersive rig, and it was pretty sweet. Like it's kind of like a line array system, like
Okay.
full stack of like 11.1, like way more than 11.16. But it was
That's
really
wild.
interesting. Yeah, cause like, and it's just like this huge, kind of like a little factory room, and then just in the middle there's a little desk with like the Stream Deck and like computer screen. So
Wow.
that's like and I guess like Blackbird's like pretty pretty wide, what their Studio SC or something. Like it's pretty big. But like
Yeah.
I'm excited to see like how big, like 300 square meters, you said?
200 square meters is really big.
That's gnarly.
That's really big. Yeah, no, I gotta check out more. So when I was in LA, I checked out a few Atmos spaces and rigs, like from small ones to big ones, and an Augsburger's one in 22. I got to
Yeah.
go in, and that was like out of
Yeah,
this world.
you're like, I'm not gonna keep you. You're
Yeah,
running Neumann's, right?
yeah.
And you recently added the dual subs. How are you liking that full range?
Oh, it's their integration is really good. If it wasn't for the MA1, the DSP on it, it would be like for me because I don't have the technical know-how. I wouldn't know how to tune it all and get it all in line. But the
Yeah.
MA1 system, like it just lines everything up. So you just basically throw the subs down, let it do its tuning, and it is. You don't hear where the sub crosses over or where the
Mm,
sub starts to thump. It's just like two full systems hitting you,
wow.
um, which is good, like really good. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, man, I'm gonna wrap for today, and then
Yo, Nicholas, thank you so much, bro.
no worries, a pleasure. I'll be jumping into your DMs, and then we'll be rolling from there. Thank you, man.
Yo, have a great night or good
You
morning.
too.